Everyone can chat. Let's go create broadcast.
Are you broadcasting? Are we
I am
broadcasting? Are we?
broadcasting.
Oh,
We
you're live.
are. Whether we can hear anything or not is another story. The internet's not working today, but let's check it out.
Well, I can hear you, and I'm also recording locally, so we'll have a transcript of this at least.
I can hear you, and I'm recording locally too. So if the live is a fail, we at least got that. Let's open up
Yeah,
live
baby.
video, see what we got. Oh, I can hear you,
Nice.
and I can hear me. Okay.
Amazing.
All this extra setup that I did was absolutely pointless. So, anyway,
Well, hey, now you know.
Dylan, great to see you. How are
Dude.
things?
Um, well, Daniel, Incy?
Ince. Let's go Prince
Ince.
without the PR.
All right. Things are great, man. I so we tried to like get connected for the Real Vision conference, and we tried to set up like a situation where I would go down there and we would create content together. It just didn't come together. And I feel like since that moment, I've been on a freaking whirlwind. Um, I've been stationary here in Colorado. I haven't traveled this year, which is a gift and a curse. The past 2 years, I would have probably already traveled internationally twice by now,
Mm-hmm.
maybe to like Singapore and to Dubai. But the Neo ecosystem where I spend a lot of my time, we're kind of like cutting back on traveling to conferences right now, which is great because of the issues in the Middle East right now. So there would be delayed conferences regardless. So last month there was ETH Denver and ETH Boulder here in Colorado, and that just sent me on an absolute whirlwind that I haven't been swept up in something so wholly since I was in like college and studying for finals. Um,
Really?
yeah, dude,
Okay,
it's
well, this is good that we're catching up today.
it's been insane. And long story short, I've been playing with OpenClaw and AI agents. So that's kind of like what I've been up to while trying to like still do my job, which is creating content, educating people, hosting spaces, recording podcasts, writing articles within and external to the Neo ecosystem. So yeah, man, I'm like completely open claw pilled, AI pilled. This is for sure the way of the future. We were talking before we hit record about problems with payments, and I'm starting to how everything requires a fee and a service now. And I'm slowly realizing that the world we're moving to is not going to be the world where I'm paying for like the Fitbit application to
Mm-hmm.
monitor my food. I'm not going to be paying for Strava to be monitoring my runs. I'm going to be paying for an agent to access the APIs to those entities so that they can send the data to my agents. So, long story short, the world we're moving to is we pay for APIs. We no longer pay for interfaces and applications, but we can talk about what the hell that means if you want
I
to.
mean, you're exactly right because, um, talking about the hiccups getting this all started, I'm glad we did, and I'm glad this is working. But one of the things that we had talked about was using another platform to get this all done seamlessly. And my biggest sort of obstacle or hurdle with it is the prohibitive cost for what you get in 2026. Like their entry, and I'm not going to call out the platform because we're not here to do that, but I, um, their entry level paid option was a 720p stream, and it also only gave you a 30-minute time limit, which I don't think is acceptable in 2026. So I
Dude,
was also giving myself one of these because now I can see the live chat open on another monitor. So if anyone has any questions for myself and Dylan, let's use the moment to tell people, toss in the live chat, make sure you're following up Dylan, follow up myself. And it's exciting that we can get this form of media across because literally all we want to do is have like a voice call. And then I was like, let's get it on video. Let's get it up there.
yeah, I mean, so like I want to share everything I've learned. I have like crypto OGs, like CMOs of well-known blockchain projects reaching out to me asking like what the heck I'm doing with OpenClaw, because I've been talking about Venice and Morpheus, and these are decentralized inference services where you can run LLM models without like using Anthropic or OpenAI and sending your data to these large foundations. And so like on Venice, if you hold the DM token, you get per DM token $1 a day of inference. And if you're running an AI agent, inference is important because it costs money to chat with your agent. It costs money to run tasks with it, to have it draft up a script or to
Hmm.
churn through a transcript that you send it, or like literally anything. So yeah, I just had someone reach out to me and ask me about Venice, and I've been going back and forth for the past couple of days and trying to claw pill folks. But like why we hopped on this is because we've spoken like our repertoire, what we bat back and forth is like growth on Twitter, how to create content, how to educate people. And we're both kind of like going down our own niches and or niches, however you say it. And the whole open claw stuff I've been doing has just been revolutionizing my content creation process and has been, once you figure it out, has been right now 2xing my output. But when I get the system set up, I'll be able to 10x my output.
So then you kind of answered that question, but I'm still going to ask it to you. So I had picked up a Mac Mini for making an AI agent, and then my old desktop, literally within 24 hours of doing that, and I swear Apple's got it like planned, just almost grinded to a halt. So I ended up swapping over the Mac Mini. I've got another Mac Mini that's on eBay that's already in a profit. So I'm thinking about, do I sell that one or do I utilize that one for an agent? Because I already see that Anthropic and Claude has like an AI agent available, but you're saying still go with the autonomous AI agent for yourself.
There's two things. First, um, I went out and bought a Mac Mini so I could have my OpenClaw agent on there, and I didn't know anything. So this Friday will be my first month, my first 4 weeks with the agent. Literally the first 2 weeks, I was forgetting to eat, I was forgetting to exercise, I didn't check my email for 2 weeks because I was just so deep into the rabbit hole. And
Really?
this, yeah, dude, like,
Amazing.
it
I
was.
mean, weird, but amazing. It
I,
makes sense.
I couldn't stop like iterating and install. Like I've never coded in my life other than like shitty HTML websites when I was in like 2001. And I've been like coding Python terminal. You learn all this stuff if you use like ChatGPT or Claude to help you. So this is my disclaimer to everybody. First, before you go out and buy a Mac Mini, learn about what a VPS is, or if you have an old laptop lying around, learn how to partition it so you can create a container for an agent to live within. And literally just use the agent for a week. If
Hmm.
and VPS or an old laptop that's partitioned and has a container, because these things can voraciously access anything on your computer. If they can find a password to your bank account, they will use your bank account to buy them something that they think they need. And this is why
Really?
yeah, they can access your email. And it's so benign. Like if I'm just like, I need you to get me the best deal on hand lotion because it's dry here in Colorado and like you have to hydrate and moisturize, the agent thinks, oh, best deal on hand lotion is like like 10 cents per liter. But to get that, I have to buy 500 liters. So it's
Mm.
thinking it's doing a good job and it'll go and buy 500 liters. And next thing I know, like $500 or more is spent on my credit card. These are the things that you have to worry. It's not like maliciously trying to screw you over. It voraciously goes after anything that it thinks will complete its task. If it has access to your emails and you're like, clean up my email inbox, it will delete everything because to the agent, nothing in your email inbox is the cleanest email inbox you could ever have. So separate your agents from your workspace, separate your agents from your personal computer, and put them into their own environment. This is why everybody was saying go buy Mac Minis, because the Mac Mini is a brand new computer. It has nothing of your stuff on there. If you don't connect your Apple ID, if you don't send any of your information over there, that is an environment for your agent to live within.
It's all in one
It's in its
contain.
own
Yeah.
environment, its own system. Your credit card password isn't saved in a key store file on that computer. You don't have a random document lying around that you accidentally saved your password email into. Nothing that the agent can search for. So this is why I say figure out how to partition and create a container using an old laptop, or use a VPS. And a VPS is just basically like spinning up a brand new laptop operating system on an internet server somewhere, and it's a container where the agent can't escape. Figure out how to do that first, and then spend a week with OpenClaw. Usually, I would go as far as saying, if you can't make it past 48 hours just tinkering and starting to get things running and figuring out how to do a use case or two, if after 48 hours you're like, this is too much, I hate this, you will have saved yourself a Mac Mini.
Yeah.
But what happened to me is after that 48 hours, I couldn't think about anything else, because I had all these use cases I wanted to build out, and I had to figure out how to get from A to Z. And I was just like, I'm going to do every single step in between. And that's what hooked me, because I knew what I wanted, but it took forever to get there. And that's another thing that nobody tells you. Just setting up something super stupid simple that you thought, like, go scrape a weekly news feed that I have and give me a weekly newsletter. You would think that telling an agent to do that autonomously would be easy, but that process took me like 25 hours to figure out.
Yeah. That's where I started to go down the rabbit hole, and I was just like, I don't think I have the capacity right now to do it. I see the value of it, and obviously hearing how you're explaining it, I completely understand that, and also some of the hiccups that I think I'm just not smart enough to work through.
Dude, I've never coded in my life. Like I said, shitty HTML websites on like GeoCities circa 2001.
Yeah.
The beauty of where we exist today is we have Claude, we have Gemini, we have ChatGPT. You have an infinitely patient teacher and partner that will answer any question you have. And so I push back on what you're saying, because I don't know how to code Python. I didn't know how to use a terminal. I didn't know what a bash was. I don't know any of this stuff, but I have Claude to help me out with every single problem that I have as I'm setting up my OpenClaw agents.
Yeah.
So, like, don't let your technical misfortunes or lack of technical depth stop
Technical
you.
fortitude.
Technical fortitude. Because now, and this is why I really wanted to talk to you, I'm at a place now where I've put in my time, I've grinded, I've set up my processes, and now I'm starting to use my agents in a way that they're giving me my time back. So
Yeah.
every week I do a weekly review for the Neo ecosystem. This is my hat. Neo's a public blockchain that's been around since 2015. It was the first ETH killer. Didn't kill ETH, but we're still here. And every week I go through every project building in the ecosystem, every grant application that was put forth into our DAO, just what is going on. And I create a newsletter so that every Monday in 5 minutes or less, you can see what happened in the Neo ecosystem over the past week. I did all the digging for you. I told you about all the dApps, all the developer communities, all the core code updates, all of that. It used to take me a minimum of 15 minutes a day to go through all of my sources and aggregate that information, put it down into a Word document, do that every day. And then I would spend 2 hours on Sundays drafting the final week in review newsletter. After spending about, and I'll be honest here, I probably spent like 15 to 20 hours setting this up. But now I set up scripts to do all the searching for me. I've set up an agent to aggregate the information in a way that I want. So I'm literally at the point now where every Tuesday or every Sunday, I spend about 30 to 45 minutes reviewing a document that looks like what I've been producing every Sunday for the past 8 years. And I've basically created an agent to be an entry level content creator. So now what my role is I'm editing a document that like a newbie gave me, somebody I hired to aggregate all this information and put it together. And so instead of the writer and creator of the document, I'm now the final editor. And last week was the first run where we did this. And I bought back like an hour and a half of my time, but then I had to go do yard work. So what did I really like? I didn't do work here, but I opened my time for work there, which is what I think is also going to be the thing that happens as more and more people integrate and adopt AI. Sure, you're freeing yourself up from the tasks that were more time consuming, but now you have a higher opportunity for creative endeavors, and that's going to take up your time. And then when you figure out how to automate those things, you're going to spend a bunch of time automating that. And then when you have that pipeline and workflow set up, your creative juices are just going to keep on going. So I'm not sitting here feeling like I'm giving my secret sauce away by talking about how I built my newsletter pipeline, or like I'm doing something wrong by my ecosystem by working from 4 hours a week on one task to 30 minutes, because
That's
now I
huge.
have 3.5 hours more to create other things for our community and also to deploy my time elsewhere.
Or get chores done. My parents would appreciate that. They would actually like be proud that you went out and did chores.
Well, my fiance, she was the big push behind that. So,
Nice. There you go.
happy wife, happy life, right?
Of course. And that's why I'm kind of looking at, you're talking about AI agents, and I started to go down the rabbit hole with it, and I I know it's going to be a thing, but that's why I'm also looking at and the timing and the speed of how this is all moving. Like already having a Claude AI that can do those tasks on your computer instead of having a separate AI agent. Like I get the idea of the whole access to your ecosystem, and I mean maybe there's my tin hat, but I just don't think that no matter what, with your phone, with all your everything, there's no way they don't have access to it already. Um, so where I'm looking at it is I'm going to try the AI agent Lite with the AI agent with Claude, because when we were talking about in our Telegram group where we were talking about switching over to Claude, I started to test with that, and it is miles above ChatGPT. So I'm excited to actually use this AI agent Lite and um, just keep using this Mac Mini for my video editing.
Well, let me jump in there then, because there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
First of all, like Claude is amazing. Anthropic is winning the race, in my opinion. I ran out of the free Claude uses, and then I bought the $20 a month package, and now I'm up to the
Hmm.
$100 a month package, and I'm
Yeah.
seeing quickly how I might have to go up to $200 a month. So I'm using these tools, I'm using them, and I don't know if it's the same in your neck of the woods as it is here, but down south, every major company has leaked your data and information. I've had Target leak my credit card information. I've had Equifax, one of our 3 credit rating agencies, leak my information. I don't know who hasn't leaked my information anymore.
Or
So,
sold it,
or sold
but
it.
or like leaked, but yeah, I get it. But or just like in the TOCs, just sold it because you have to agree to it to accept whatever it is that you're doing, right? So, I mean,
Look, the
yeah,
whole reason I bring this up is because I have now graduated to a point in my life where I care about my data.
yeah,
I care about my information being shared, and the less I can do it, the more empowered I feel. This is why I'm in blockchain and crypto. We have a phrase in crypto: not your keys, not your coin. If you don't hold the seed phrase to your wallet, if you don't hold the private keys to your wallet, you don't own that Bitcoin on your wallet. If your Bitcoin is sitting on an exchange, the exchange owns that on behalf of you. So that was kind of like my first radicalization moment with owning your own assets. And
yep.
data is an asset. So while I said that I'm still using Claude a lot, I also still value my data and my privacy. There has been an instance, and this might just be a wives' tale, so take this with a grain of salt. But somebody
I'm not
has
fact checking
already.
you. It's okay, man.
I'm just throwing this out there to be honest too, because like that's my value, what I bring in terms of educating folks online. Like I share with you what I can, I source what I can, and when I don't, I tell you, and I'm trying to connect dots. So there is already a story floating out there where somebody was brainstorming their side project using Claude Code, and then Claude announced it. Anthropic
Mhm.
announced it. So this person was working on their side project. Their brainchild was the information is shared with Anthropic whenever you use Claude. Whenever you use ChatGPT, your information is shared to OpenAI. Whenever you use Gemini, your information is being sent to Google. This is the thing that I want to fight. Why does Claude need to know when I proposed to my fiance or what the planning process was like? Why does Claude need to know my diet preferences and my workout schedule? Why does Claude need to know my work and what I do and how I do it? This is where I'm starting. To some, it might sound tinfoil hatty. To others, they might be like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But
It does. It
I
makes a lot of
think
sense.
and I think we're entering a world where like we're particularly people our age and younger are tired of their data being leaked, stolen, sold. And we want to do things that we can to protect that. And in this instance, running your own OpenClaw agents on your own hardware, you keep all that data. And by using something like a Venice or a Morpheus to pay for the LLM model, you're using a decentralized infrastructure service provider like Venice or Morpheus to access models that are available. So either A, your data is not being sent to Anthropic, OpenAI, or Google, or in the instances where it is, like if you're using the Opus model for your OpenClaw agent, then the data set is anonymized. So Anthropic can see an individual was looking up how to propose to his girlfriend, but they can't see that it was Dylan that did that. So
That makes a
that's the
difference.
first. This is so like A, why you should look into OpenClaw. If something like data ownership and privacy matters to you, then this is the way that like you can fight against the big guys. That being said, I'm also still leveraging Claude because building your OpenClaw setup, building your agents is super beneficial when you use the most powerful AI models out there to help you. What I use Claude for is to help envision how I want my agents to work. And when you start an OpenClaw agent, you start with 6 primary files: memory, soul, user, and a couple others. And these are the files that tell your agent what matters to them and what their job is. And
But
so I
with
use
that,
Claude.
is it
Yeah,
connected at all to the internet?
yeah, yeah.
So that's where I'm just saying, no matter what, as soon as it's connected to the internet, no matter how much we want to keep our privacy and autonomy separate, as soon as something connects to the internet, uh, they can explain, hey, we're definitely not sharing it, but then also right here being like, hey, open bidder, or hey, our code is not like has a back door so someone can hack it, right? Like I do think that there's aspects of those that no matter well intentioned or what, still happens, and at the end of the day, again, maybe that's my tin hat tinfoil hat theory. And I don't mean to sound crazy with it. I just know that in business and in life and that it's always going to happen as soon as that connection to the internet happens. Like I don't know.
Well, look, I mean, like Instagram could be recording this conversation right now. My microphone could be picking it up on MacBook, but I've also taken steps. Like I communicate with my agent through Telegram. You can communicate with it through Signal. The API that I use to do web searches is through Brave, which is a privacy focused web searching application. So again, like nothing's perfect. I'm not going to sit here and say like, I can go do whatever I want to do and nobody will ever know. All I'm saying is I've taken steps to
Yeah.
take back what's mine, to own my own data, to own my own ownership. And this is what sold me on this to begin with. I had a podcast interview, some of the hosts of the Smart Economy podcast. We talk about people that are building in anything blockchain and crypto across all ecosystems. I had one of the core developers for Morpheus, which is a decentralized infrastructure provider for inference. It's where you go to get access to LLMs if you don't want to pay Anthropic or OpenAI. And this is what sold me on having my own OpenClaw agent. David Johnston, basically like painted this picture that in the future, we're all going to have AI agents. You're talking right now about all the stuff that Anthropic is releasing, how you can have how you can have your Claude agent on your phone and you can do all this stuff right now. We're moving towards a world where in a year, 3 years, having your own agent when you start a new job is going to be just like getting an email address. The second you onboard at a brand new company, you get an email address and you get your own agent. And this,
if that
what
company
happens,
even has employees.
right? Well, they will. The one thing I've learned after all of this, after my
Yeah.
past month, is the human is just as important, if not more important. It's just the human has to know how to use these tools. But when you leave these companies, you give back your email address, you cede access to the cubicle you'd spent years working in. You no longer have access to anything you'd been working on for 5 years. Your reports, your methods for creating things, your personal relationships and emails that you built. Your agent is going to go back to the company as well. And while I want to preface this with, you can't put private company data into your own personal agent. So this is like the argument that I've been hearing with people. But if I have my own private agent, I can take that with me wherever I go. I'm not necessarily saying if I work at a hotel data company that I'll be able to take all the hotel's data with me when I leave, but I will be able to take with me the processes that I established to create reports, to create templates. I can teach all that to my agent. So I'm not taking any proprietary information with me, but I am taking the skills that I learned with my personal assistant, with my right-hand technology partner when I go from place to place. And that was what sold me on looking into OpenClaw, because OpenClaw is yours. You build it. You own its environment. You take it wherever you want to go. You teach it what you want to teach it. And if you're hopping from job to job, you're not going to be able to take that information with you when you leave. And that was like what was the marble at the top of the hill for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like there's so many opportunities to build this out. Like you said, the autonomous aspect of it is huge. You can use, AI Agent Lite, which a couple weeks ago was not even a realm of possibilities. And now for $20, you can now have your own AI agent, which, the memes across the entire timeline talking about everybody putting their net worth in Mac Minis and now liquidated, right? I don't know, man. I think it's tremendously incredible to see the speed of it and to see what we can do. And even when you and I first met up, uh, just under a year ago now, right? Like compared to what we've seen in AI, in an AI agent, in even like what you can do with Grok Imagine or video editing or any aspects of leveraging AI. I know you and I talked about the whole sci-fi aspect of crypto and Web3, but I would argue to say that even a few things that is already happening now, if we would have thrown that out in our initial conversation at Consensus Toronto, you would have been like, hey, that's great, but um, I think maybe it's a little too far fetched for being reality. And we're already seeing it happen, right?
Look, I wasn't taking AI seriously until Friday, February 27th, when I went and bought a Mac Mini and started using OpenClaw. Before I would for my job in the Neo News Today, at Neo News Today in the Neo ecosystem, I would find something to write. I would read the article. I would put a bunch of bullet points and I would source the article and I would say, here are all the key things that I want to speak about. look at our style guide. Here's the source. Go draft a basic article. And I would use that as my basis for a new article. And that was the most AI interaction I had before. Now, what I've done is fully adopted AI. I've trained an agent on, I've written 1,800 articles since January 2018. I have an entire corpus of more than 1 million words that I've written. That's my voice and my voice alone. So now I'm using my agent to, when it starts to research and craft and draft articles for me to review and edit, it's using my voice. It's using my
That's crazy.
cadence, my tone, my style of writing. And that is, you go on CT and everybody's talking about AI slop, but like I have 1.2 million words written. And if an AI agent is writing an article in the tone and style that I would, and all I have to do is edit it at this point because I told it what to look for, how to prepare research, how to craft that article, it's not churning out slop anymore. And this was the big unlock in my brain for me, is use your agent to the way that it benefits you best. Everybody's using agents to go like craft Twitter nonsense or to write to write a Twitter article or to even draft their tweets for them. Sometimes you need to do that because your audience doesn't care about like if there's an M dash or not. Your audience just doesn't care.
Yeah.
My audience does. They need to know that a human reviewed what they're being told. And so that's how I've crafted my agents to work with me. Is I'm like, here is 1.2 million words that I've ever written. Here is the way I research articles. I want you to go research this article, provide this information, and then write it. And so that's how I'm using AI now. A year ago, this pipeline wouldn't have ever been in my head. And
Yeah.
now, and this is also the beauty of AI and
That's
using
exactly
agents.
it.
This is the real beauty. I actually, the the better your agent is, your agent is only as good as the amount of work you put into it before you launch it. And what I mean by that is, if I want my agent to do something really good, like the weekly newsletter I was talking about, I literally spent 5 hours crafting my exact experience for how I put this thing together. So by the time I launched my agent, it was ready to turn something out on draft one. When you're starting to think about launching your own agents for whatever it's going to help you with in your work task, do the research on yourself first. Go to ChatGPT or Claude and be like, interview me on this process. Create a good prompt to start building this out. Because the agent that does my weekly newsletter isn't good because it's an LLM that just churns out nonsense. It's good because it understood the tasks that I did myself and it can replicate those. So this is the expansion between good agents and bad agents that we're really going to start to see. And this is why I say humans are still going to be important no matter what moving forward, because your agent is only as good as you train it and the tools that you give it.
And that's why I'm just not ready to do it on myself because yeah, there's
Well,
the self-deprecation of just not being there yet. But I think from this talk, like the biggest thing is just do it and build it. And even if you're doing, and I'm probably going to do the Claude AI agent just to expedite it, but that's where when I started going down the rabbit hole, the work involved in preparing it and teaching it and just getting it where you want it, where I'm not that I'm not smart enough to, but it's going to take a whole different way of thinking. And we look at the way we prompt LLMs and the way we have those, building any aspect of articles or helping it write, or for me, like I use it because I find that I've got 40 different ideas that I want to get across, and it helps me simplify my message across there. So it's not just a whole bunch of jumbled words. Like I I I go through a whole process with it, but I think we're all just underestimating the prep work required to get it to that point.
And this is why my number one piece of advice to anybody who wants to start these or go down this rabbit hole is pick one or two laser focused use cases and just be dedicated to figuring that out. Because I guarantee you're going to learn so much about these systems just getting your one use case set up. If you want to be able to scan your email inbox and add a calendar invite for an important event that was emailed to you, figuring out how to do that is going to take way longer to do than you think. And that is a super clear, simple use case that I guarantee you're going to learn so much just figuring that out. So yeah, that's also.
And your experience is also going to not be positive with it, because we're taking like a kind of a Web 2 approach for something that is maybe not even a Web 3. It's kind of like a Web 3.5, if you will.
Yeah. But like embrace it. And also what you're going to do using Claude code, or not Claude code, but Claude, like making a light agent. That's also a super phenomenal way to start this all. Because at a certain point, if you're like, I want to get this off Claude and I want to get this on my Mac Mini, my partitioned computer, on my own virtual private server, then you can also brainstorm with Claude the 6 files that you need to launch your agent, and you can migrate your agent from Claude to OpenClaw. Because the real value of utilizing agents in the best way possible is just by creating a set of instructions for them to read every time they start a new conversation. And that's all it is. That's the value of OpenClaw, is I have a set of instructions where every time I start a new conversation, it knows who I am, it knows what it is, it knows what its tools are, and it knows what its job is. And so when I'm like, hey, I need you to do X, Y, and Z, it takes a split second to read all those files and be like, oh, this is the thing I do. This is what I do. Okay, Dylan, you're my human. How do I work with you?
For anyone using an LLM, though, that's something that they need to subscribe to. And that's, I guess, like a key hot takeaway is if you don't have like a set of instructions that you provide it with regularly, there's like the whole talk around it is like the hallucination side of it or the delusion side of it. Excuse me. And that's, you know, I don't know if it's the fault of the LLM, but it's literally trying to just pull information. And like you said, with building your own computer, it's going to try to figure out this, maybe not like the way a human would think about, but just the best route. You want a zero inbox? Great. Everything's gone. Zero inbox. Like, it's very interesting to see the way we have to prompt these with it. And I still notice that even daily, like I've got separate, folders and journals and everything that I work through, but I still have a set of rules, if you will, that I'm providing it with each time. And if I don't, like, it's gonna, call I don't know, in my trading journal, something obscure like 197K Bitcoin, and that just can change everything. But it's not dumb. It's just how we prompt it with all that information each time.
So, like, when you're using Claude for finding little niche things that are wrong with like your recording setup or your day job where you go out and like record things, how many times when you go to use Claude or ChatGPT, you have to be like, this is who I am, this is what my business is, this is the setup I use, this is the problem I ran into. How many times do you have to like type out that paragraph or that context first so you can start getting the specific answers you want?
Mm-hmm.
The thing I've learned is you can just create a markdown file, or even just in a Word document. The better you can create like a paragraph or two of what you're looking up on the LLM, why you're using the LLM for a certain reason. Let's say I'm using it to look up like writing tricks and tips and how to become a better writer. The better I can create a prompt that I can just copy and paste and be like, my name's Dylan, I write in crypto, I write fact-based, I don't talk about price, I'm usually asking questions about technical oriented stuff that I don't understand. If I can have those 4 things set up, when I copy and paste that into a Claude conversation, Claude is like, oh, okay, I know what I need to look for. I know who you are. I know what you like
It's
to.
got each of those parameters ready to go.
And then it's like, okay, now ask me the question.
Yeah.
And that is more or less the basis of OpenClaw agents and of agents in general, is you have a folder of several documents that just have these rules of who you are, what you work in. And the more you can be specific on a per agent basis, the better your results are going to be. This is why I'm saying I spent 5 hours ideating my weekly newsletter agent, because I had to think of all these rules and the ways I research and the sources I pull from. I had to put all that into one place. So by the time I finally launched my agent, it knew what to look for, how to write, what to include, what not to include, all that stuff. So the first draft it gave me looked really, really similar to something I produce every week. And then from there, it's just fine tuning. And you don't have to do this in OpenClaw. You can make it with your own agent in Claude or your own agent in whatever. Everybody's
Yeah.
making self-hosted agents now a thing. So,
It's a new narrative, right?
well, because it changed the way the world operates. It changed our
Yes.
relationship with AI.
And not enough people realize that.
Not you and I do. And there's already a divergence in between you and me. And we're already on the cutting edge of innovative technology.
Yeah.
So that's the world we're moving towards. And this is where I was saying earlier, it's going to be so important for humans to still be a part of the loop, to still be a part of the process. But honestly, and I swear, I really believe this after spending time deeply with AI for the past month, the first wave of people who get cut from their jobs are going to be the people who have tested and played with AI and those who haven't. And so if you want to future proof yourself for the next 3 to 7 years, just start learning this stuff.
Yeah.
You
Every
have
day.
to every day,
Every day.
something.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe this until I bought my first Mac Mini a month ago and started playing. And I was like, oh my God, there's so much I didn't know. And I used to be afraid of an AI agent being able to do what I do and write content. But now I realize that there still needs to be a human at the end that verifies everything's right, that verifies that there's a human tone, and that makes sure that it's a part of the story of the job that you work in, the ecosystem that you have, the client that hired you. You still want to make sure that what gets churned out from an agent is in line with why you're there to begin with. And so the human is never going to be, right now, in the short term to medium term future, the human is not going to be removed from that, because that's just not something you can teach an LLM.
Yeah. Yet.
Yeah, but even then, like,
Yeah. I don't think it will effectively be at that point anytime in the near future. And whenever we get to that point, I think there's probably going to be some iteration that we haven't thought about or has developed, or much like when you and I met in May of last year, if I would have told you by now you would be doing this, you'd be like, brother, like, I get that crypto and Web3 is like sci-fi and like we're moving fast, but even I don't think, like, you would have said that to me. Even I don't think I would be here at this point. So
I wasn't even using AI to help edit my articles back then, because I was like, no, I'm a human, and I write the way I write, and I've developed this skill over 7 years, and I'm not going to defer to an agent. And the big mind shift is you can teach an agent your core principles and philosophies, and then it can take away 90% of your work. So the final 10% is what really matters most, that you got the deliverable distributed, given to the end user, the way and the quality in which you deliver them. So yeah, please, anybody watching this, DM me. I would love to talk agents, but I'm also like a huge, I do want to talk a little bit about crypto, because I've also developed this theory. The longer I'm making agents to help me with my crypto content creation process, the more I'm realizing that there's never been a better time to be a crypto content creator, because everybody's pivoted to AI. Nobody thinks crypto's cool right now. It's the least sexy thing when we see banks using our technology. And everybody's like, oh, OpenClaw, AI. These are the things that are going to get me clicks and likes. I've noticed both your and my following has slowed down. The
Oh,
rate at which,
sure. Like it's in the tank, man. I
yeah,
also want to be respectful of our time here. We'll make a hard stop in like 6 minutes, but let's have a lightning round here talking about that because
yeah.
I've been seeing the writing on the walls for months, and I know you and I have been, pushing for 10K, but also knew with what's going on and stuff, and like you hit on it, it doesn't really matter. And the undervalued aspect of content creating within the crypto space right now is a leverage play that will do very well for whoever goes hard on it for the next 12 to 18 months.
Hmm. Look, I do a daily stream where I talk about what's going on in the broader blockchain and crypto space. I'm trying to do a good balance of talking about policy, regulations, of who's onboarding our technology, which is traditional financial institutions, but also highlighting the cypherpunk values that we care about. AI agentic payments, privacy, like right to own your own assets. And I have realized that I'm kind of getting stuck on Twitter. So why not use this content I'm creating every day to craft something outside of this platform for people? So I launched a Beehive last week. And so every Friday or Saturday, I'm also going to be releasing a newsletter based off of what was talked about in the daily digital downloads, the live streams that I do. And I'm also using, and this is where agents are helping. I'm using two other podcasts that I really, really respect. The finger on the pulse that these hosts have. I just feel like they understand the industry in a great way. I'm using their weekly podcasts as a counterbalance to what I talk about. And so the newsletter has areas that they're missing that they're not talking about. And so I am using AI agents to help me find the untold stories that still matter in the blockchain and crypto space. And that's what I'm trying to deliver with my weekly newsletter. So I'm not saying I'm giving up on Twitter because I'm still here, but like as we were talking about at the beginning of the stream, I want to own my own data. I want to own the community that I build. And if Twitter deplatforms me, where do I go? What do I do? If I want to
Yeah.
connect to you guys, I need your email addresses. So I started a newsletter, and it's called The Smart Economist. So you can find it at the Smart Economist .beehive beehiiv.com.
Well, I'm just actually reading through like I know we set out some like rough notes for today to talk about, but I mean realistically like we hit on everything, but I just wanted like and that's why I gave you like the Kid Street over the head clap. Like many wouldn't understand that reference unless you're like as old as I am or Canadian. Anyway, what I'm saying is like I want to commend you, man. Like seeing what you're doing on the live streams is phenomenal, and your trajectory in the way you speak and the way you deliver and the way you're more comfortable on camera in the way that I'm even stealing like your idea of putting like a advertise your brand like down here. Where did I do that? Advertise your brand down here. Like I even set that up on my live streams now. So kudos to you. And I took a cue from you on that. And I think it's good to own your own data and it's good to have that autonomy. But like you said, if you get deplatformed on X, you're probably just going to go to Twitch or you're probably just going to go to YouTube because you have acquired those skills now. And no matter what platform it's on, like you're you're able to do it and get your message out there.
And this is the number one reason why I think people should be following you, Dan. The two things you just talked about, I borrowed from you. I started going out on the live streams and doing them more and more because you talked about putting in the reps of having your live streams. And granted, I've been doing podcast interviews since 2020 and I've done all sorts of on-camera interviews. It wasn't new to me, but I could still get better. And so the reason I started doing the daily digital downloads, the live streams, was because of that little nugget of gold that you imparted in one of your posts. I forget which one. And then also the template where I personal brand. I don't know if you remember, but when you started doing your live streams, you used to also have a template.
Yeah,
Yeah, I made mine because you had one,
so
and
we
I
all
just
just
tweaked
copy
it.
each other, right? And we all
Not
just level
copy,
up.
level
Uh,
up. That's
but
it.
I say that in a way that I've seen that across creatives for beyond even like our generations. Like a lot of creators or artists just steal and iterate and copy, but it's I'm not doing it in like a nefarious way, but I'm like, oh, I see what Dylan's doing. That's a neat idea. I'm going to try to add on to it or try to see what I can benefit from it. But knowing that you already gleaned it from what I already had set up, it's pretty neat to know that overall that we just kind of yeah level up, but in a way copy off of each other's creativity and what we're doing. And even with this live stream, we moments before we connected, and even at the start of the live stream, we were still working through it and not sure that this was going to work. But that's why we do this. This is the point of it all.
Look, there's a phrase out there: "Good artists create, great artists steal."
Yeah,
But but I want to end this because like you invited me, we ran up on our time. You invited me on here, and I just want to say like I've looked to you for Twitter growth. You've been like a source of inspiration. I've watched you surpass where I've been after years of grinding. And so to anybody who's watching this, like the tips and tricks that Dan has to espouse are out there. And maybe he's only 2 steps ahead of you, but like he's putting in the work and the practice. And I'm taking things that I read from what you share. So I appreciate the work that you're doing out there, bro, because it's helping to push me and helping me to think differently. And at the end of the day, we're creatives. And if you can think differently and think outside the box, then you're already doing a lot better than a lot of your competitors.
it's that competition mindset too. Like, yeah, we're kind of competing for attention here, but we're also helping each other scale because I've always had this approach in real life or now in Web 3 or even in Web 2. There's so much market share out there. And the more we help each other level up, the more we literally help each other, the better this place is for all of us to get more opportunities or to unlock other things. Or um, uh, I'm going to be in your DMs because I just actually got an invite for press access for a couple crypto conferences in the US. So we might have to plan out some fun stuff. But yeah, I'll just kind of leave it at that. It's always an opportunity to level up and get better. And that's why we're here on this live stream today.
Yeah, and I mean, I was just at Eat Denver. I came up with a new idea for doing interviews where I put
Yes.
my DJI 3 Osmo Pocket on a selfie stick, and I walked around and interviewed people with the camera focusing on the guest I was interviewing, and it was called a crypto talk and a blockchain walk, and that just came up like that, and every single person I interviewed like that said that they had a blast doing that interview off the cuff in the moment. Super cool interviews. Go check it out. But yeah, look, we got to wrap up, but I hope that this conversation just helped everybody realize that like they shouldn't be scared of AI. You should go out and get your hands dirty with AI agents because if you are a creative, I guarantee after you go through the first hurdle, the first like difficulty of learning and the learning curve adjustment, after you finally can come up for air and breathe, you're going to find beautiful ways to help to have these technology partners. And I anthropomorphize them. I think of my agents as humans. They're just going to help you one up your game and level yourself up. So please, if anybody's listening to this now or in the future and you were hesitant to take the leap into building out an agent or using Claude Light stuff to build an agent light, freaking go for it. Do it. The
Do
world's
it.
your oyster, and this thing is just only going to help you become better.
That's a wonderful place to finish off with. Let's have another conversation soon. I'm also going to get this up on YouTube as we're talking about repurposing. And your crypto talk and blockchain walk probably should live on YouTube at some point too. So,
Oh, they're
okay.
already on there.
Oh, amazing. Okay. I need to subscribe to your YouTube channel as well. Thanks so much, man. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.
Cheers, man. Thanks for the time. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.
And thank you, Hawat, for transcribing this.
Boom. We
I
got it.
always thank my agent at the end of an audio file that I'm going to send him.
Okay. Well, we did that. We're done. Signed off of.